Making the move from primary school to high school is a big step. In some states, you start high school in year 7, while in others, it's a year later when you're in year 8. But that's changing in some states and it's causing a lot of debate. Sarah looks into it.
Year 7, the year when you leave primary school behind and head for high school. When you get new classes and new teachers. And you go from being the biggest in the school to the smallest. Or at least, that's how it works in most states. In New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania and the Territories, high school starts in year 7. But in Queensland, South Australia and Western Australia, it doesn't start until year 8. There's no particular reason for that. It's just that it's always been up to the states and territories to decide how kids should be taught. And some decided to do it a bit differently. But now that's changing. As you might already know, the government is writing a national curriculum. They want kids to be learning the same things at the same age, and that's tricky when some are in primary and some are in high school. High schools have specialist teachers who know a lot about their particular subject. They also have specialist classrooms, like laboratories and workshops, which let you do more hands-on lessons. And some reckon that's what Year 7s need to learn properly. So, from 2015, Queensland and Western Australia will be sending kids to high school a year earlier. Some Queensland kids are already trying it out, like twins Luke and Abby, who started Year 7 in high school last year.
It's very different because we feel more grown up, it's like mini adult training. I love the sport the best because our sport teachers, they're really supportive and they give us opportunities in all different sports.
But while swapping schools isn't such a big deal for kids in the city, in the country it can be life-changing. Here in Beacon, in country Western Australia, there are no high schools. So when primary's over, it's off to boarding school for many kids. That used to happen in year 8 when they were about 13. But now it's going to happen a year earlier. And that's made some families really sad.
One night I mentioned it to them, what would you think about, how do you feel about going to boarding school? Oh, that would be great, we're really excited. We're going to go to boarding school at year 8, and I said year 7, and they're like, oh, I'm not sure about that.
Not everyone's convinced that year 7s are better off in high school. After all, kids of that age come in all shapes and sizes. And while some are getting pretty big for primary school, others are still a lot smaller than high school kids. And the changes will cost money. To cope with the extra students, high schools might need more teachers, maybe even more classrooms. Some would prefer to have a national curriculum which is flexible and makes it easier for year 7s in primary to learn the same stuff as year 7s in high school. At the moment, South Australia has no plans to change. So in 2 years' time, these guys could be the only year 7s still in primary school. So what do you reckon, guys? Would you be happy to go to high school in 2 years' time?
Well, in some aspects I believe it would be quite good because you're going to be there for a while, so it's better to get used to it.
I think we should go to high school in year 8 because if you go to high school in year 7, then you won't know as much as when you go to high school in year 8.
In the year 7 science curriculum, you have to use like Bunsen burners and scalpels, etc. And in a primary school, you wouldn't have that kind of stuff.
It just seems right to go when you're a bit older